lead the program and support the program. It's just nothing like being a part of the Razorback program.
Although not born in Arkansas, no one was more Arkansan, Razorback to the core, than Frank Broyles. His impact on his adopted state as a coach, leader, and visionary cannot be measured by wins and losses on an athletic field, but in the lives of those he touched over his long and impactful life. It was as a winning college football coach.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll go ahead and find your seats, we'll get started with the program here in just a minute. Go ahead and find your seats. Great to have all of you here tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun and a great evening tonight. Thanks for being here. Just go ahead and find your seats if you can.
In some of the most memorable games of the mid-20th century, during an era when on Saturdays there might be only one game on television.
And head coach Frank Rhule. It's almost a storybook setting here today, ladies and gentlemen, as we look at the Razorbacks now coming out of the field.
A syndicated columnist once wrote about Broyles. No minister, priest, or rabbi is more devoted to his religion than Frank Broyles is to football.
I want your team to do it. You've got pride in your offense, you've got pride in your defense. And you get pride in your kicking game. And not make mistakes there. And that's what wins in November. That's what wins and carries the game in November, is the fact that you want it more than they do. You got to be tougher mentally than they are.
As a coach, Broyles was an innovator who preached fundamentals. He had a knack for hiring talented young assistants who ached to become head coaches. He was an energetic recruiter and a mentor to players who would have unrivaled success in sports, business, and life, with names like Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, and Lance Alden.
13-yard line. A long pitch out to Allworth. He's on the near sideline now, jumping over would-be tacklers, but finally hauled
A defining moment came in the Cotton Bowl at the end of the 1964 season. The Razorbacks scored late to beat the Nebraska Cornhuskers 10-7, completing an undefeated season, winning a share of the national championship awarded by the Football Writers of America.
A big score and a big celebration. He looks, he waits. It's over. And it's Arkansas 10, Nebraska 7. As much of the population of the Razorback state swarms onto the field. The Razorbacks winners of the Grantland Rice Trophy, symbolic of the nation's finest college football team.
Well, it was a feeling that you can't express in words. You could see in the hearts of the team and the minds, you could see the feeling, the togetherness, the satisfaction, the pride, everything that you admire in young people, you could see it in this squad as they left the field and came into the dressing room and remembering. And one of them stood up and said, "Remember when we walked up to you on the airplane and told you what we were going to do? Well, we've done it."
Arkansas won 22 straight games during an epic streak in the mid-1960s, as Broyles built and unified a rural southern state in ways that only Frank himself could have imagined. A lanky redhead as a boy, Broyles grew up in Decatur, Georgia, playing football, baseball, and basketball. He was a multi-sport star at Georgia Tech and a football hero for the legendary Bobby Dodd, who would become a powerful figure in his life. Dodd called Broyles a coach on the field, recognizing that young Frank was a leader as well as an athlete.
Broyles again. It's a buzz bomb to Johnny McIntosh on the 39. Would-be Tulsa tacklers swarm in on him, but he slips away and he's racing up the field. He's across the pay stripe for a beautiful play covering 51 yards.
Following a World War II appointment with the Seabees in the Pacific Theater, Broyles returned for his senior year at Tech and married his high school sweetheart, Barbara Day. Together, they would raise 6 children with a storybook marriage that would last until Barbara's death of Alzheimer's disease in 2004. Frank wasn't interested in the NFL. He became an assistant football coach at Baylor in Florida and back to Tech to run Dodd's offense for 6 years. The Yellow Jackets were a powerhouse, averaging 10 victories a year and winning bowl games at the end of every season. But Broyles hungered to become a head coach, and he set his sights on one job: Arkansas.
After a penalty, no hill for a climber like Donnie Stone. Just watch him go. Until bang on the Texas Tech 29.
Early on, as an assistant in the Southwest Conference for Baylor, Broyles saw the uniqueness of the Razorback program. He believed he could energize the fan base around the state's one major team, and he let Arkansas Athletic Director John Barnhill know of his ambition. But Barnhill wanted a man with head coaching experience and passed on Broyles when he had an opening at the end of 1956. So when Missouri called, Frank became head coach of the Tigers for 1 year. And then Barney called.
Finally, on December the 6th at 9:31 in the morning, I got a call from John Barnhill, and he said, "Hey, Frank, this is Barney." I said, "Where in the heck have you been?" He said, "Well, I've been trying to get the ducks on the pond." And I said, "Are we on the pond?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "I'll be there Friday."
After a slow start in his first season with the Hogs, Broyles set the state of Arkansas and the college football world on fire. In most years, through the 50s and 60s, the Razorbacks would battle arch-rival Texas for regional and at times national dominance.
The Arkansas Broncos roll out the red carpet. Hatfield rides again. 81 touchdown yards. Finally, stride for stride with the official, and this makes it Arkansas 7, Texas nothing.
His teams won 22 straight games from 63 to 65, winning 1 national championship and coming close to several more. During the decade of the 1960s, the Razorbacks had the 3rd best winning percentage in the nation.
When the Razorbacks started winning, I know that I saw their image change in these years of 59, 60, 61, 62, when we were in the top 10 all 4 years, the team was, and they began to take pride and brag, and it made all of us feel, made the players and coaches all feel good to hear these people say that it changed our image, it changed our self-evaluation, our self-pride. We began to feel like that, hey, Arkansas is just as good as anybody else in the country. We proved it through the Razorbacks.
In 1973, Broyles became the athletic director, eventually giving up his job as head football coach at the end of the 76 season. But he wasn't through with football. For 9 years, he worked alongside Keith Jackson as the analyst for the premier broadcast team on ABC.
1 and 2. I'm Keith Jackson along with Frank Broyles, and this is fun. You don't have to sell this one. It's just put it on the tee, and I guess the old Southern expression is sick 'em, Frank. Keith, when you're playing for the biggest prize in college football, the worst thing that you could have happen is your team be uptight.
An avid golfer and member of Augusta National, Broyles hosted the Green Jacket ceremony 9 times, hailing the winner of the legendary Masters Golf Tournament.
Well, good evening, everybody. Please feel free to start eating. Let's dig into it, and we'll get started with the program in just a few minutes. Welcome, everybody.
He hired Hall of Fame coaches and gave them the tools to win at the highest levels. Eddie Sutton and Nolan Richardson in basketball, John McDonald in track, and Norm DeBryan and Dave Van Horn in baseball. Under his direction, Arkansas won 43 national titles, 57 Southwest Conference championships, and 48 SEC titles. He raised money that built world-class facilities, becoming the envy of much bigger and richer universities.
Chancellor Ferreter, the Southeastern Conference proudly invites the University of Arkansas to be the 11th member of the Southeastern Conference.
Sensing a shift in revenue and power bases in college athletics, he engineered the transition of Arkansas out of the Southwest and into the Southeastern Conference in 1990.
To truly seal the deal, we need for Commissioner Kramer to become not just an honorary Razorback, but a Razorback, and to do that, you have to wear the hog band.
Frank Broyles retired as Arkansas Athletic Director in 2007, completing more than half a century of service.
It's been a Razorback miracle that I've witnessed, and the fans of Arkansas deserve all the credit. They're the ones that made everything happen. Thank you very much.
But even that was not the end. Following Barbara's passing, he and his family established a foundation and developed a playbook to help others cope with the challenges of caring for Alzheimer's patients. The playbook has been translated into 11 different languages, and more than 1 million copies have been distributed. He remarried and led a happy life with the former Ginn Whitehead, and was long a fixture at Arkansas sporting events.
The man that was known as the old redhead is now white-headed. Legendary Frank Broyles leading the Calling of the Pigs to open the second quarter.
It's hard to put a label on Coach Broyles, and impossible to place a value on his legacy. He was a gifted athlete, a championship coach, a groundbreaking athletic director, and a popular broadcaster. He was a mentor, a man of great faith, a husband, a father, and a grandfather.
Here we go.
He was an icon who made a difference, a big difference, and his life will have lasting impact, especially here in Arkansas, where he always wanted to be.
You create in practice every situation that your player is going to face in a game. And I mean every situation, and you repeat it until he can execute that from rote memory. Because there's no conscious thought once the ball is snapped. It's quickness and accuracy of movement. Quickness and accuracy of movement determines who wins the game. That ain't going to change. That's not going to change at all.
All right, I don't want to interrupt Top Gun, but let's get started. Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to the 2024 High School Broyles Award. It is so great to have you here. I'm Kyle Deckelbaum. I was a sports anchor here in the state of Arkansas for about a decade, and I've been involved with the Broyles Award for 12, 13 years now. It is so special to be a part of. So amazing to have all of you here. And I just want to start with this. Unlike last night, where there was some tension probably among the 5 coaches sitting at this table right here about who was going to win, if you're a high school coach in the room, you've already won. And let's start with a huge round of applause for the 38 high school coaches we're going to honor tonight. The talent in this room is amazing. And I think about the growth, certainly being here at Oaklawn is a big part of that. Wayne Smith is back there. And I want to thank, of course, the entire Oaklawn team. How amazing has it been to be here at Oaklawn? A huge round of applause to Wayne and his entire staff for hosting us this weekend. Show of hands, how many people made it over to the races today? Yeah, there you go. All right, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up if you put some money down. Keep your hands up if you won today. There you go. So look, these are the people who are buying drinks at the post-party, all right? Enough to buy a drink, I bet. Listen, it's so great to have you here. And I mentioned the growth, and being here at Oaklawn's a big part of that. But from the high school perspective, we had 6 coaches, 6 winners in 2021. We had 12 states in 2022. We had 21 in 2023. Here we are with 38 states honored in 2024, and even more to come for next year. Incredible growth from Clayton Harrell, from the entire team, to see how this has come. You know, this was mentioned a little bit last night, but one of the first things you learn being involved in the Broyles Award is that Coach Broyles could have put anybody on that statue on the logo that you see there. Any number of the incredible coaches in the history of his incredible career that you heard last night. And he's got Wilson Matthews right there, a legendary high school coach here in the state of Arkansas at historic Little Rock Central High School, just up the road in downtown Little Rock. I think it underscores how much he values the high school coach. That was his first assistant coach hire at Arkansas, was Wilson Matthews, and stuck with him the whole way. And I think it underscores the respect and belief he has in each of you. And I want to try to echo that. When you're a sports anchor, you spend a lot of time, mornings, afternoons, in those dingy offices with all of you. I have seen what the less than ideal facilities look like. I've seen you struggle over trying to get Huddle to load on the computers. That's probably the best part of your day, right? There's the field to mow, the field to line, the schedules to do, the laundry, not to mention working with teenagers in this new era, and we'll say no more than that. I have so much respect for what all of you do, and you do it because you love what you do. You have to. There's a purity to the high school game that still exists, and on behalf of the entire Broyles Award, we recognize that, we appreciate you, and we are so glad you're here. So tonight is all about celebrating you all. The other thing we want you to know is you are not just an award winner tonight, but you are truly, as of tonight, a part of the Broyles family and the Broyles legacy forever. And speaking of family, I want to welcome the youngest daughter of Coach Broyles to join us up here, Betsy Broyles Arnold.
Well, we are so excited. When I look out and see this room, I'm just amazed. And I know that my dad would be so proud. You know, I'm sure he is looking down and seeing this, because I know the impact that his high school coaches had on him. And so I just want to greet everybody and tell you thank you. We're so honored to have you. And you know, as he said, you're all winners. And you are a member of the Broyles Award family. So thank you all for coming and taking the time to be here, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you to Betsy, to Molly, the entire Broyles family. It's amazing. It's so unique, I think, in an award that a family is still so involved, still so deeply involved, and it makes it so special. All right, for our opening prayer, we call upon our 2022 High School Broyles Award winner for the state of Florida, a longtime assistant at North Florida Christian. Please welcome Jim Moore.
I will say the blessing I'm about to give will cover your salad you just ate. I know there was some question at my table, and yes, it will be blessed as well. Let's bow our heads. Dear Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for so many blessings that we have. And Father, I thank you so much for these men who are being honored tonight. We're thankful for their service to their communities, to their schools, to the young men, the student athletes they get to coach. And Father, we want to lift them up to you. Father, we pray also for their families, for their wives who sacrifice time so these men can teach and lead other young men. And Father, I thank you for Clayton and Molly and the Broyles family for allowing us to come and honoring us as assistant coaches. We thank you for what the Broyles family does for the community and the nation. Father, bless this food, bless our time together. It's in your Son's name we pray, amen.
So I want to welcome, we'll have a lot of welcomes after dinner here, but I do want to acknowledge Brian Haynes from Indiana is here, one of our finalists from last night. So amazing, such a class to have him hang around and be here tonight. A lot of amazing people that we'll acknowledge after dinner. By the way, for dinner, I hope you liked the ice cream and Frosted Flakes last night. And because you're going to get some more tonight. And for those of you who weren't here tonight, maybe had to come in today, we learned a few years ago that this was a Coach Broyles tradition before the games. Loved it. May seem like a weird combination, but I think if you tried it last night, you might start to do it a little bit more. Here's the deal for tonight. We're going to break for a little bit. We'll have dinner. We are going to live stream again tonight, just like last night. And we'll get started here in a little bit after dinner. But what I'd love for you to do, so we are going to be live streaming on Arkansas PBS live stream through the Arkansas PBS YouTube page, as well as the Broyles Award social media. So anyone who runs your social media accounts for your teams, shoot them a text, let them know that it's airing. Your entire community can tune in tonight and cheer you on, and we make it a real community celebration as well. So enjoy dinner. And we'll continue in just a few minutes. Thanks, everybody. going to go back with. I think I just learned it's going to be a new pregame delicacy in Lincoln, Nebraska, by the way. Matt Rhule trying it for the first time. It is great to have Matt Rhule here. We will hear from him, the Nebraska coach, in a few minutes. And as we get going here, we want to welcome everybody tuning in on the Arkansas PBS live stream. It's great to have Arkansas PBS as our media partner tonight and stream this live via their Arkansas Live programming, as well as the Broyles Award social media. And again, please spread the word, tell all your communities to tune in tonight so they'll be able to see you all be celebrated and walk across the stage here in just a little bit. A few people besides Matt Rhule, we do want to welcome our 2020 Texas winner, Tony Salazar. There's a guy who's always been in the semifinals or state championships, so he could never actually make it tonight. Great to have Tony here. And same for our 2023 Texas winner. Speaking of success, Dane Saucier couldn't make it last year because of the playoffs. Great that he could make it this year. LSU Executive Deputy AD and COO Kelly Zinn and her husband Nate, great to have you here. Our 2023 Arkansas winner, Bobby Bolding, is back. I shouldn't say this when I was in media, but now I can say it. One of my absolute favorite coaches in the state, and I think he knows that. He's won just about everywhere he's been across the state. It's great to have Bobby Bolding here. David Basil, the creator of the Broyles Award, and Jeff Hildebrandt, the chairman of the Broyles Award. And then a big round of applause. They would never put this in the notes of people to thank because they're too humble. But the truth is, this entire thing would not happen without Clayton Harrell and Molly Harrell. And let's give them a huge round of applause. It's a big undertaking. We have coaches here from Arizona to New York and just about everything in between. We talked about the growth earlier, up to 38 states this year, even more next year, and to see this continue to grow is just amazing. Let's get to it. Tonight, as we've said, is all about celebrating you. And as we dive in, join me in welcoming a national leader among high school sports administrators. He's here from Des Moines, and actually last fall was just named the National High School Athletic Coaches Association Executive Director. He's our chairman. Welcome, Scott Jarvis.
Thank you so much. I'll be brief. It is an absolute honor to be in front of you today. I've had the opportunity now to attend this event the last 3 years, and it is absolutely amazing. And again, I'll reiterate, Molly, Clayton, thank you so much for honoring these coaches. Coaches, you do so much for our kids in our schools. It's absolutely amazing the impact that you have on our student athletes. Each and every day, you have the ability to change lives and you go do it. Not because you have to, because you love these kids. You love having that impact. You love that opportunity to go and teach life skills through this amazing platform of high school football. And thank you for doing that. I know you don't hear that enough. You do not hear that thank you enough. And it's so important what you do each and every day. So important. Because student athletes like myself would never have the opportunity to grow and learn from you each and every day. So thank you for what you do. I would also be remiss if I sat up here and knowing that you and the support that you need to do what you do is so important. So thank you to the wives, to the families. You give up your husband each and every day to go out and make that special impact. So thank you for allowing your husbands to go out and do that for your kids in your community. Because there are kids that need your husband. They need that role model, and you will never know the impact that you have on those kids. So wives, thank you for allowing your husbands to do that. And I know there's nights you're like, he needs to be home right now. Because this is going on and his daughter is acting up. So thank you for allowing them to do that. Yes, give them a round of applause, no doubt. And lastly, Coach Rhule, thank you so much for taking the opportunity to be here with us this evening. I think that just shows the importance of what you do. when we've got the head football coach of the University of Nebraska here with us tonight to honor what you do in each every day. And of course, none of this would be possible without our sponsors. And I want to extend a huge thank you to Field Turf, our presenting sponsor, as well as GoFan, Game One, Victory Rings, Box Out, and Coaches versus Overdoses. Your partnership and commitment to recognizing these unsung heroes in our sport make this event so special, and we truly appreciate all that you do for high school athletics. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Brandon Parrott from Field Turf, our presenting sponsor, to say a few words. Thank you.
Wow, what a night to see the room that we started in 4 years ago, and I don't know, 12 coaches I think being honored that evening, to looking out across the scene and what I see before me tonight. It's amazing, and it's a testament to the work that Clayton and Molly and Betsy and everybody has done with this award. Thank you to the Broyles Foundation, to the Broyles Award Committee for allowing Field Turf to be a partner in this event. I'm truly honored and humbled to be up here this evening speaking on behalf of the over 400 Field Turf North America employees. And when I say congratulations, coaches, this is a moment that you have earned, and we are privileged to be in attendance with you this evening. As I think about your role within your school, your community, I'm reminded of the book of Mark, where Jesus is speaking to the disciples, and he says, "Whoever amongst you wants to be great must first become a servant." Well, tonight, you're being honored because you've become great. Your servant leadership has made a difference and made a mark on lives that will make an impact for eternity. And that's why we're here to honor you this evening. So on behalf of Field Turf, I say congratulations. I say thank you for this opportunity to spend these days with you. And I want you to know you've joined an elite fraternity that you'll be a part of for forever. And so congratulations. Enjoy this night. Enjoy the people in this room. It's a special group. And so again, I just say thank you for allowing us to be a part of this evening.
Thank you to Brandon. Thank you to Scott as well. It is great to have you both. And you're right, we can't do this without all of our sponsors. And a huge thank you to all of them. I want to welcome someone who can provide a little insight into the legacy and leadership of Coach Broyles. In 2006, Michael Beaumont, the head football and baseball coach at Lincoln High School near the Arkansas-Oklahoma border in the northwest corner of this state, gets a call that just about any coach could only dream of. It's Houston Nutt, the Razorback coach at the time, inviting him to come be an administrative staff assistant. It's a job he could only dream of, and Coach Broyles at the time was the Razorbacks AD. Years later, Michael follows Houston Nutt to Ole Miss. He eventually works for Pat Summitt at Tennessee, and he's now the athletics director at Fort Smith Public Schools. I don't know how many people in the world can say they've worked for Frank Broyles and Pat Summitt. Let's welcome Michael Beaumont.
Thank you all so much. I am very humbled to be here tonight. I know Kyle had alluded earlier about who all went to the races this afternoon. I don't know who Silent Sam is, but he helped me remain silent all day today at the races. That was not a $5 well spent, but I'm sure I will do better next time. Kyle, thank you so much for that. You know, lots of accolades and lots of opportunities that I had, but the reality was I was just a guy that has been very lucky to work with and for a lot of great people. From Coach Nutt, who I still love to this day and talk to him every chance I get, to Pat Summitt and Holly Warlick, and then, of course, being under Coach Broyles, which is why I am here today. You know, Coach, it was kind of a funny thing, especially on the campus at the University of Arkansas. No matter how many coaches there are on campus, when somebody said, "Coach," you knew who they were talking about. You could always tell when he was in a room, and he just had that presence about him. Now, for a young kid coming in, it's kind of scary. I mean, you see this guy, and you see him on TV, and you kind of remember all of these things about him. But there is one of those things that I remember vividly. I'm new to the University of Arkansas. And Coach Nutt tells me this first week, you're going to have to meet with Coach Broyles at the end of this week. I remember a little bead of sweat kind of popping up, and I thought, all right, Coach, I'll do that. Just happens to be that afternoon on the way to practice, Coach Broyles is coming out of the locker room. Now, Coach Broyles in the afternoon, he's going to get his exercise in. He's going to get his walk around the field, maybe the indoor. He'll have his weights, always in a full suit. Might take off his jacket for his walk and his exercise, and then he'll put it back on. Coach is coming down the hallway. I'm going in the direction towards him, and I'm thinking to myself, do I turn right? Do I turn left? Do I leap? Or am I keep walking? I make the decision, I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to look him in the eye. I'm going to say something. He doesn't know who I am. We're just about face to face. Hey, Coach, how you doing? In that sweet southern drawl, you know, you're supposed to come and see me at the end of this week. Yes, sir, Coach. I'm Navy suit, red tie. Excuse me, Coach, what? Navy suit, red tie. Coach, I don't own it. Do you want the job? Navy suit, red tie. Keeps on walking. I go home that afternoon. I tell Mrs. Beaumont, hey, I've got to buy a Navy suit. Yeah, you don't have a Navy. No, I know. I don't have a Navy suit. I need to go buy a Navy suit. I buy the Navy suit. I interview with Coach, the last person I have to talk to. I get the job. And to this day, if you go to my closet on the far right corner behind the other sport coats and suits, there still hangs that Navy suit. There has not been a single interview that I have gone on where I didn't wear Navy suit and red tie. And that was just his way, that attention to detail, the smallest thing. I think there was anything that Coach taught all of us was that the smallest of things matter. The details truly matter. Even the trophy itself. I saw Basil earlier, and you know, he alluded last night about Coach Matthews and how that choice was made for him to be on the statue. But Basil and I were talking, that design team of Basil and Coach Broyles, you think about the trophy itself and the way it looks today. Who's kneeling and who's standing? Coach Broyles is kneeling. That assistant coach just barely behind him with his hand on his shoulder, as if to say, I got you. We're as one. There is no break between the two. They're connected, which is why all of you are here today. And just in case it hasn't soaked in for you all yet in this room, I want you to think about where you come from. Think about every high school that is in your state. Now multiply that times the number of assistant coaches at all of those schools. You were chosen to be the best, to be the number one assistant in your state, and that's why you're here tonight. It's an honor and a pleasure to be in front of you. I saw Coach Jansky. Steve is here from Fayetteville High School, and he is a colleague of mine, and I always, get a chance to lean on him. And there's one thing that he says to me all the time, especially when I'm having trouble focusing on what needs to be done. Last night was a opportunity for the Broyles Award for the college, which is big business. Steve is always quick to remind me, in our world, we're in the kid business. That's what we do. There's a big difference, because we have the greatest job in the world to be a part of their lives. I live through you in my role as a director of athletics. But don't forget, The greatest thing that we do is that we get to do this job and that it matters. The hardest thing about what we do is that it matters every day. Every day. Welcome to Arkansas. Welcome to Oaklawn. Welcome to the Broyles Award. Thank you.
Neat. Not many people can speak to working directly for Coach Broyles. So, Michael, thank you. You know, we mentioned last night at the Broyles Award and talked about the Broyles Foundation and the incredible work they're doing to help a playbook for Alzheimer's caregivers. It is so cool on the high school side for the Broyles Award to this year now be partnering with Coaches versus Overdoses. An incredible initiative. We'll play a short video about that, and then we'll welcome my other favorite high school coach here in the state, a former Razorback great, Casey Dick. Take a look.
I'm Mike Singletary. On the football field, I had to spot fake plays. Nearly every fake pill contains fentanyl, and it only takes a small amount to be fatal. 90% of addictions start during teenage years. Talk to your family about avoiding fake pills and not to take what they're not prescribed. Help NFL legends like Randy White and me tackle fentanyl. Remember, one pill can kill.
Good evening. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate that introduction. As we're standing here tonight, everybody in this room is probably here because there's a certain amount of coaches or people within, as they were growing up, that greatly impacted their lives. And they're here tonight. They were my high school coaches that now are here and run the Texas High School Coaches Association, and Brian Polk and Joe Martin. Two of my biggest mentors of how I got to where I am today. Why I got into coaching ultimately is because of those guys and the relationships that they were able to build and establish to me at a very young age, and ultimately ended up being father figures for me as I was transitioning through high school. So I want to thank those guys and really the impact that they had on my life, obviously, but also kind of getting Coaches and Overdoses going in the correct direction. And when it wanted to split off and try to multitude into a bunch of different states, they put me in touch with these guys as well. I want to thank my wife, Felicia. She's here tonight, obviously on Valentine's Day, spending her day with a bunch of coaches. In our marriage here, I soon, in a very fast pace, found out how much, as I took a head coaching job, she liked to win. And not only win, but win a lot. I took my first job, and I come home to a game that we probably should have won. We lost. And as I'm walking through the living room, we have two separate couches. And I look on the couch, and I've got a pillow and a blanket and a phone cord. And I soon learned that when I lost or when we lose, that was kind of my bed for the night. So I hope everybody in there can relate. She is very big on relationships and people and kid-driven in that business, but she loves winning probably more than anybody in the room does, and she will tell you all about it. I'd like to thank Clayton Harrell and Molly for their job. When Coaches and Overdoses kind of reached out to me and wanted to have a partner with Arkansas and really get it involved, they kind of said, hey, well, we need somebody to back us that will kind of help us in the state and the community and really help us put the word out. And I said, I got the guy that can do that. And they said, who is it? And I said, Clayton Harrell, runs the Broyles Award. And they're like, there's no way he's doing that. And I said, well, let me call him. And I soon found out that Clayton knows the value of being a head coach and delegation as well. Clayton said, I'll do it, but you got to speak at Broyles Award. And I said, perfect. I knew that was coming back to get me in the long run. So I appreciate you, Clayton, and Molly, the Broyles, and Miss Betsy, and everybody for backing us and really being our partner in this and tackling it. It's a great cause. It's an unbelievable cause. And unfortunately, my high school coach, Coach Polk, and I, we got a call one night that hope nobody in the room has to get, and that we lost an individual that was like a son to us as a result of what was just on the screen from fentanyl. So it's something that not only hits 112, I think it hit 112,000 kids last year. It hit really close to us. So it's something that we take seriously. And as you guys know, we wear a bunch of different hats. We have the ultimate impact on kids. We can impact their lives in a variety of different ways. One of the things that when they came to us and really wanted to put it out in the communities, they said, we got to do it in football venues. And I said, why football venues? And they said, well, that's the most attended event in a single high school. All the community comes, it connects. We can get the word out very efficiently. We can distribute it. So it became something that started to make sense. And so I started researching a bunch of different things. I got 2 young kids, one's 11 and 12, and we actually have talks about these pills and things at our household. And so 7 out of those 10 pills that's in your pamphlet as well contain fentanyl. There's enough of that dosage in there to where a sugar packet like you put in your cup of tea, an artificial sweetener, that has enough to kill 500 people in there. So it's a seriously potent thing. It's 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. And the things that can get laced in it can go from a vape to a pill to a bunch of different things. So the impact that it can have on kids ultimately comes obviously from a lot of different avenues. Some of those are from household prescription drugs that aren't disposed of properly, that in that packet it tells you how to do that. That we'll have packets out there at a venue in a game or at night, and they can take a packet home and actually dispose of those pills properly to where ultimately we're impacting young kids' lives. And so there's a lot of different avenues and ways that we can encourage you to do it. We, as high school coaches, I think we have the perfect platform to do that. One of our things this year is we're going to pick our big rivalry game this year and ultimately have that to spread the word as much as we can and try to just impact kids and families all across the state of Arkansas. And I would highly encourage you guys, if you haven't been a part of it, that you jump on board and get a part of it. So I want to thank Clayton, our athletic director, Steve Jansky at Fayetteville, for really backing us as well on this and really taking this and being the first school in the state of Northwest Arkansas, or in the state of Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas to really jump on board and get it done. So in closing, congratulations to all you guys, the award winner. It is truly an honor, as Clayton and everybody said earlier, to watch this thing grow and grow and grow. And obviously we want to be in all 50 states, and we'll continue to push and be that way. So congratulations to all you guys. Hope you have a good weekend, and best of luck to you in the future.
A 2023 state champ, right, Casey? 2 years ago? Yes, sir. Great coach there. I asked earlier how many people went over to the races. How many took advantage of the spa while they were here today? Show of hands. A few. There's still time. Guys, it's Valentine's Day. There is still time tomorrow before you go, I'll remind you. Hey, it is great to have Matt Rhule here. And I know if I were to ask a lot of you what you're most proud of in your career, I think it's easy to say one win. But I think if most of you really thought about it, you would say it's more about the idea of building a program. And Matt Rhule is one of the truly ultimate program builders that we have in football today. At Temple, 2-10 to 10-4. At Baylor, and we remember what Baylor was going through, 1-11 to 11-3. And at Nebraska, just took the program to their first bowl game in 8 years. Matt Rhule's a guy who has rebuilt foundation, revived fan bases, and reinstilled beliefs. And this one-time linebackers coach at D3 Albright College has created a culture of championing assistant coaches along the way. And I was reminded today, he has a connection to our Broyles Award winner last night, Al Golden, coach for him. He was an assistant coach under him at Temple. So with that, please welcome Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule. We have the biggest stage possible for you to walk across. Great to have you here.
Now, if you guys will forgive me, my dad's a longtime high school teacher and coach, but he's also a Baptist minister. And we've been sitting here, we've been talking, we've been visiting. How about everybody just stands up for a second? How about we welcome each other to this meeting, huh? What do you say? Let's take a few minutes, say hello to everybody. Come on, let's go. Just shake somebody's hand. Tell them you're happy to see them. Welcome them. Feel free to say "Go Big Red" if you're a Husker fan. All right. Thank you very much. Don't make me break out my coach whistle. I do that every time I talk when I'm nervous. To give me a chance to catch my breath. He talked about the things we did at Temple, and many of you guys were instrumental and helped us in that, and talked about the things we did at Baylor, and certainly there's people here that we could never have done that with. We plan on being pretty good next year. Now, I know this is live streamed, and I'm probably going to get myself in trouble, but we got the 7 wins this year. We plan on making a jump. And when we make that jump, people are going to say all kinds of things, but I believe that the ice cream with the, what was it, Frosted Flakes before every game is going to be part of it, because that's not part of my routine. So thank you for introducing me to that. They keep trying to get me to eat kale and all this other stuff, but I'm going with that. If it's good enough for Coach Broyles, it's good enough for me. Before I begin, it kind of really hit me. We walked inside, and in 2020, I was the new head coach of the Carolina Panthers, and I just hired Joe Brady, who won the Broyles Award from, the College Broyles Award, and Phil Snow, who was my longtime mentor and defensive coordinator, was a finalist that year. And it's really the closest I ever got to this award, which, to be honest with you, I feel a little bit robbed. I was a heck of an assistant coach. My numbers weren't great because we ran the football, but we won a lot of games. And we took a picture in there earlier, Julie and I, and we sent it to our kids. We have a little family group chat. And I have a 20-year-old son. I have a beautiful wife, Julie. It hit me as you were talking earlier, thank you, that it's Valentine's Day, and that she would come here with me is just so amazing. And as I think about saying thanks, I think about my 2 daughters, Vivi and then Leona. And Leona's the little girl. She's 9 years old. She's the one that, win or lose, on Sunday mornings at 6:15, 6:30, come on, Dad, let's go to the office. And she's writing inspirational messages. She's a little girl from, Remember the Titans. And so I took that picture of Julie and I next to the Broyles Award trophy and put it on our family group chat. And she was so excited. She was so proud. So while I take tonight to say thank you to all the men in this room, the coaches in this room who inspire, who teach, who coach, who develop, I also think it's appropriate on Valentine's Day that we take a moment to thank our wives, our sons. There's a special place for coaches' wives. There's a special place for coaches' sons. But Miss Betsy and Molly, I know this, there's a special, special place for coaches' daughters and granddaughters. And so thank you to all the families who allow us to go out and call those 20, 30, 40, 50 kids our sons. Thank you to everybody that's here. They said that, they talked about Al Golden being the head coach. And Julie and I got in a car several years ago. We drove 11 hours, 2 dogs and a cat, no kids, pulled up to Temple University. We both had been at Penn State, but he didn't know me. I knocked on his door and I said, Coach, I want to come work for you. And I thought I knew what I was getting into. And that man punched me in the face for 4 straight years. See, the thing that we don't talk about, we talk about the inspiring part about being a coach and the inspiring part about being an assistant coach. But what I learned from Al Golden is that you got to work. None of this is easy. You're standing here today because you guys are the best of the best at what you do. You've accomplished great things. You've inspired people. But see, what I love about assistant coaches, and when I first met the Broyles family, and again, I'm grateful to the foundation. I'm grateful to Field Turf, and obviously coming here to Oaklawn is amazing. But when I first talked about this award, it just hit me to my heart. Because you know what? It's hard to be an assistant coach. It's hard to every single day walk in, take the head coach's message, and make it your message. Take decisions that sometimes aren't yours and make them yours. And I learned that from Al Golden. I learned that from Tom Coughlin. I learned that it was my job to show up every day and be on, because the young people that I coached deserved a coach that was on, deserved a coach that was on fire, a coach that was passionate, a coach that believed every single day in what they do. So I was excited to be here because I was proud of the work I did as an assistant coach. This year, they have the portal now. They also have portal. You hear coaches complaining a lot about the portal, don't you? But assistant coaches and coordinators and head coaches, we get in the portal sometimes too and take other jobs. And my D-line coach who had played for me years ago, he took another job, and I got to go be the D-line coach for a couple weeks in the bowl game. And first of all, I found out I'm kind of out of shape because I hadn't coached in a long time. But it was the connection. It was the relationship. It was getting hands-on. It was the things that I learned from Al and I learned from Coach Coughlin, the things that you guys do every single day that inspire me to want to be here and be with you. And I love the fact that we're amongst high school coaches. We live in a day now where, especially at the college level, we think coaching is winning. Like the guy who gets the best roster or has the best money, they must be the best coach. And I'm proud of what we did at Temple because we didn't have the best recruits. but we coached them up. The men in this room, you guys coach the guys that are walking down your halls. You coach the guys that are coming up through your junior high programs, and we're losing so much of that. We're losing so much of that in today's football. But that's not what coaching is. I watched my dad when he wasn't at church, when he was an assistant coach. I watched my uncle in the Pennsylvania High School Coaches Hall of Fame, and it hurts me that Pennsylvania's not in here, so you let me know what we got to do, because we're going to get it done, because that just drives me nuts, because I know the men in that state and how much they care. But they inspire, and you inspire people like my son. See, my son was never going to go play Division I sports, but he needed a coach. Not every guy's going to win the Heisman. Not every guy's going to be all state, but they need a coach. They need somebody to inspire belief. You know, a couple years ago, I made the decision to go to the NFL. It was one that Julie told me not to do, but she's right, I was wrong. You know, sometimes you want to test things, and when I got fired, there was an afternoon, and, you know, kind of go through the somber part of being fired. It kind of stinks when you're being fired on ESPN, and you got people saying, you know, kind of celebrating it, but it happened when it happened. And throughout the course of that day, I got all these texts from all these players who had played for me at Temple and at Baylor and going way back to Western Carolina. And they might have thought I was dead, even though I wasn't, but they took the time to almost eulogize me and say, Coach, thank you for this, and thank you for that, and thank you for when you said this to me, things that I never knew would have been possible. And so what I say to you is, there are so many young people that you've impacted that just haven't had the chance yet to tell you what you've done for them, but they mean it. And this generation, they're less vocal than ever, so they might text it to you someday. They might write it to you someday. But the impact you're having is needed. Now more than ever, man, our kids, man, they open up their phones and they're told what they can't be. They're told what they can't do. They're told what they should be. And all they really need sometimes is someone like you to come along and say, I believe you can be what you want to be. So I had a chance to get back to college football. And if you look back in my history, every step along the way, from Temple to Baylor to now the University of Nebraska, I've always hired at least one, if not multiple, high school football coaches. Because college football is getting ruined by guys coaching just for the money. It's the people that want to teach, the people that want to educate, the people that want to coach the kids that walk down their halls. You're the ones that are doing it for the real reasons. You're the ones that are changing lives. I can't say it, but say it time and time and time again. Man, I love when I see the assistant coaches who work for me, that when I walk by their offices, it's not just the star player in their office, it's the walk-on. It's the ones who don't value their players based upon what they can do. They value their players based upon who they are, who they can be. At the University of Nebraska, we want to win. You want to win. We want to win championships. I want to hoist a trophy. I want a big contract. I want to take care of my family. But more important than anything else, man, we have a purpose that someday we raise warriors. We raise these men into warriors that change the world. That they look back and say, you know what, my life is better because I played for Coach Rhule. That I played for you. That's a purpose that's special. It's eternal. It matters. And so much of sports is losing that. So that's why we're here. Not to tell you that, because you already know that, but to thank you for that, to celebrate that, because my son needs that, and my daughters need that. And you know what? I needed that somewhere along the way. I'm only sitting here as the head coach at the University of Nebraska, a lifelong dream, because as a 11th grader that just moved from New York City with no friends in State College, Pennsylvania, and a quarterback that found out they had a 6'5" all-state quarterback and got moved to play center, didn't know a kid on the team, a man named John Chuckrin, who had been an assistant coach at Penn State and went off to be an AD and came back and was 70, 71 years old, walked by me one day and said, hey, Matt, you'll be okay. Like the power of 3 or 4 positive words from a man at the end of his life. Like sometimes we think coaching is about being able to relate. Like we think it's about knowing the same music. We think it's about knowing the same things. No, it's about belief. Think about our own kids. When we find someone in our lives who we know they believe in what our kids can do, not what they can't do, but what they can do, we'll turn them over to them. It was that man who inspired belief in me that, hey, maybe I can do something in football. And then it was Steve Gutoff, this rough guy from Queens, New York that moved to Pennsylvania and took this young guy and said, hey, you can be a center. And he inspired me with the love of football. Man, I know you want to play quarterback, but you're not that good. Come play center. And this is what a single is and a double and a triple. And he didn't dumb it down for me. He made me love the game. He made me want to come in at lunchtime. I listen to things all the time, and we shouldn't talk to our kids as long anymore. Let them have a 5-minute phone break. And how are they going to change the world if we keep lowering the standard for our kids? But he didn't do that for me. He might not even know that I feel this way about him, but I sure do. Because this passion that I feel when I wake up in the morning about football started with that man in 11th grade. And then I went off to Penn State and Joe Paterno. I went to learn from Joe Paterno and all these great coaches. And I learned a lot. But it was a strength coach, John Thomas, the meanest man you've ever met. But I didn't care if it was LeVar Arrington, Courtney Brown, first-round draft pick, or Matt Rhule, man. You walked in at this time, you put your shoes on the right way, you had your socks pulled up. The standard was the standard. And as I left Penn State and started going around different places, I started to learn that, in a lot of places in this world, the standard is based upon your talent. But when you do that, you rob people of the belief in themselves. They start to believe they're only worth something if they're super talented. But I had a person in Coach Chuckrin who told me that they believed in me. I had a person that made me love the game. I had a person that told me no matter what your skill level is, you have to have a high standard for yourself. Stop complaining. Get here earlier. Not fast enough, run more. Not in shape enough, lift more. Find a way. Go from being a walk-on to playing in every game. I dare you to do it. And he did. And as my career went on, I'm just name 2 more names if you don't mind, but some of you will know this name. The greatest football coach I've ever known in my life, George DeLeon. A mentor among mentors, a football coach amongst football coaches. Lifelong high school and college assistant coach. And what he showed every single kid that he ever coached was that no one was going to outwork him. It's hard to be great. I open up my phone and turn to Instagram, and my kids send me things, my players send me things. I don't know if you guys know this, there's a shortcut to everything nowadays, but there really isn't. Work. He taught me how to work. He prepared me for guys like Coach Golden and Coach Coughlin. And then finally, Phil Snow, who was a finalist here years ago, who's taught me that a football coach is a teacher. See, if you inspire people, if you believe in them, if you hold them to high standards, if you teach them to work, and then if you are consistently teaching them the same things over and over and over again, you teach them how to be a man. You teach them how to be great. When I went to Carolina, we had a first-round draft pick, and I asked him a question. I'm not going to say his name. He was already there, and I said, who was your college assistant coach? Just asked him a question. I like football coaches. And he couldn't remember his name. He couldn't remember his name. I had a kid last year, 2 years ago, poor little kid from a really big school. I said, who's the best coach you've ever had? He said, Coach, my Pop Warner coach. From that day on, I said, every coach that you coach, every coach that I coach, I hope they remember our names. And I hope they're never going to say I was the smartest. They're never going to say I was the guru. Maybe they'll say that about you guys. They're not going to say it about me. But I want them to remember us. And I want them to know that we care. Because somewhere in your building is a kid like my son. And somewhere in my building is a kid like your son. And maybe he's nervous and maybe he's anxious. Can I do it? Can I not do it? But every single day, man, I want to find something to believe in him with. Something to inspire him with. I want to hold him to a high standard so he knows there's no excuses. I want him to work because he sees me work. I want my son to work because he sees you work. And I want them to be grateful for the opportunities we get because you guys are the best. You're teachers. That might be God speaking, telling me it's time. With that note, thank you for all that you do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful, 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 purposeful thing. And if you feel anything from me, I hope you all say thanks to your families, and I hope you all know the impact you're having. Sometimes we think we know it. We just have to wait for our eulogy to hear it. I got to hear mine before I was dead. Yours is out there. Tonight is your night. Go Big Red, and God bless you all.
Let's keep it going. How great is Matt Rhule, everybody? That was amazing. We promised that was not us. We could have listened to you talk for another 45 minutes. I think we'd all be great. In that spirit, tonight is all about celebrating you, and so it is time to transition into the ring ceremony, and let's meet you. Here are our High School Broyles Award winners for this year.
Representing Alabama, his unit paved a path to the Gophers' 7th straight trip to the playoffs. Hueytown offensive line coach Scott Glenn. From Arizona, the younger half of a father-son duo that turned the Coyotes into a consistent contender over the last 2 decades. Coming off an improbable state championship, Peoria Centennial defensive coordinator Andrew Taylor. From Arkansas, one of this state's storied programs, back-to-back perfect seasons, and winners of 5 titles in 8 years, Greenwood defensive coordinator Jason Gill. From Delaware, a stalwart of the first state, he spent more than 4 decades on the sidelines. Del Mar running backs and assistant coach Mike Dorsey. From Florida, you're looking at a coach whose influence is felt all over the Tiger Sharks program. Port St. Joe wide receivers and DBs coach Kenny Parker. From Georgia, he's the reason opposing offensive coaches can't sleep before facing the Wildcats. 10 years of coaching under his older brother, Richmond Hill defensive coordinator Tony Lezart. From Illinois, listen to this statistical turnaround. The Griffins averaged 24 points in 2021 and nearly 37 per game over the last 3 seasons. Lincoln Way East offensive coordinator Joel Palisar. From Indiana, his defense allowed just 24 points combined in 5 state tournament games en route to his 2nd state championship. Add 13 sectional championships and 8 regional championships over 15 years, and you have one dominant run. Fort Wayne Snyder defensive coordinator Ryan Moorman. From Iowa, 28 years of dedication, the past 5 as DC, during which his team boasts a 52-9 record. His defense consistently ranks among the Hawkeye State's top 10, playing a big role in 2 state championship runs. Lewis Central defensive coordinator Ben Matteo. From Kansas, his offense was one of the most prolific in the Jayhawk state, passing for nearly 4,000 yards and securing the best overall record in school history. 2 players earned MVP and best wide receiver honors in the Kansas City Metro. Blue Valley Southwest offensive coordinator Brandon Hawks. From Louisiana, points per game allowed over the last few seasons, 15, 18, and 20. Oak Grove defensive coordinator Lawson Green. From Michigan, a coach with nearly half a century on the sidelines, 48 years, including 28 at his current school and 22 as DC. His record, 209-51, with playoff appearances each season and 3 state championships. Rockford defensive coordinator Randy Vanderveen. From Minnesota, the Star Tribune newspaper described his defense as fast, creative, high energy, quick, and tough. 20 years as a high school DC, 5 quarterfinal appearances, a state runner-up and state champ. Edina defensive coordinator Mike Johnson. From Mississippi, over 2 decades, his offensive lines have cleared a path for 12 1,000-yard rushers and 5 2,000-yard rushers. He's coached 8 state All-Stars, 2 U.S. Army All-Americans, and an Under Armour All-American. Pedal offensive line coach Matthew Pete Holman. From Missouri, a highly regarded Show Me State assistant, he recently molded an Under Armour All-American kicker. Liberty North special teams coach, Mark Krause. From Montana, a hallmark of consistency in the southwest corner of the state for 2 decades and counting. Beaverhead County offensive and defensive line coach, Brett Carver. From Nebraska, he's a crucial piece of a program that hasn't lost a game since 2021, including a run of 3 straight state championships. In the most recent title win, he held a rusher averaging 242 yards per game to just 51. Norfolk Catholic defensive coordinator, Tim Kastmeyer. From New Mexico, over the last quarter century, he's been a key part of 9 state championship teams. Hobbs defensive coordinator, Jeff Willingham. From New York, he's known for tireless preparation, outstanding communication, and success. The Trojans are on a 53-game win streak with 9 straight county crowns. Garden City defensive coordinator, Stephen Finnell. From North Carolina, a state championship appearance, 2 semifinals, and 4 quarterfinals in 6 years. An assistant for the state Shrine Bowl team that beat South Carolina for the first time in more than a decade, West Brunswick defensive coordinator, Scott Loosemore. From Oklahoma, a pure winner, 9 of the last 10 6A state championships. Plus, he's won a 10th in a previous stop in Texas. Bixby defensive coordinator, Rodney Flowers. From Oregon, ready for this? His defense allowed an average of 9.6 points per game. He helped the Challengers to a 13-0 season in 2023 and the program's 4th state championship in 10 years. Back-to-back perfect seasons. Cascade Christian defensive coordinator, Michael Shawn. From South Carolina, honored statewide after leading the Timberwolves to a school record 14 wins and the program's first ever state title appearance. White Knoll assistant head coach and special teams coordinator, Neil Smith. From South Dakota, his unit allowed less than 9 points per game en route to the first state championship for the Bison. Hot Springs defensive coordinator, Levi Klippenstein. From Tennessee, 14 years as DC and 7 state championship appearances. Join us in congratulating him for his recent promotion to head coach. Montgomery Bell Academy defensive coordinator, Chris Chauvin. From Texas, a true right-hand man. He helped the Rebels win the outright district title and reach the regional semifinals. Midland Legacy defensive coordinator, Francisco Maldonado. From Virginia, a 33-year veteran whose defenses are consistently ranked among the top 5 in fewest points allowed statewide. It's no coincidence the Bobcats are 40-0 in the regular season since his arrival. Battlefield defensive coordinator, Steve Francis. From Washington, how about these numbers? 4.2 points per game, 6 shutouts, 7 total points allowed in the playoffs, and a 4th straight state championship. Since 2015, his Knights are 124-2. Royal defensive coordinator, Jeremy Scroggins. From West Virginia, central to the Blue Devils' rising success along the Ohio River, St. Mary's defensive coordinator, Jay Powell. From Wisconsin, his Hilltopper D consistently ranked among the best tackling teams in the country by a national data tracker and key to 2023 state championship. Marquette defensive coordinator, James Becker. And from Wyoming, riding a 43-game win streak with 10 state titles in his 18 seasons, including the last 4 in a row. Most special during that span, he's coached both his boys. Sheridan wide receivers coach, Darren Gilbertson.
Coaches, please stand. Congratulations to you all. Let's hear it. Coaches, please stand. Congratulations to you all. Let's hear it for our High School Broyles Award winners. While you're standing, here's what I'm going to have you do. Move over to this side here, and we're going to line you guys up in alphabetical order by state. I know it's daunting. I promise you we can do this. We do this every year. This is the most coaches we've ever done it with, but I've got full confidence we can do it. We have some volunteers over here who are going to be able to help line us up from Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, all the way down to Wyoming as we get in a line here for the ring ceremony. And we're going to have Matt Rhule come up. We're going to have Matt Hall from Victory Rings, which, while we have a second here, a huge thank you to Matt from Victory Rings. They are just absolutely fantastic. They work with all the major conferences. We are so lucky to be able to work with him as well. Another thank you as well to Brandon from Field Turf. I do want to also acknowledge, we mentioned Chris Chauvin, now the head coach of Montgomery Bell Academy in Tennessee. Scott Loosemore as well, congratulations to you. Now the head coach at Fairmont High in North Carolina. That happened after we recorded that video. So 2 guys there who are now head coaches and continuing the legacy of the Broyles Award. You'll notice on your table, by the way, there are some cards with QR codes on them. If you want to order some Broyles Award merchandise, that is the best way to do it. It's super easy. Spouses, it's Valentine's Day for you too, to honor them. Snap a picture of that QR code on your table there, and you will be able to order some. And I also, if you'd like to donate to the Broyles Foundation, a QR code on the screen behind us as well. How are we looking over here? Did we do it that quick? I am amazed. That is fantastic. All right, come on a little bit closer here as we get set here. And what I'm going to have you do, coaches, we're going to bring you across one by one. You'll be able to receive the ring from Victory Rings, and then take a picture with Coach Rhule over here, who's lined up perfectly as well. And what I need from all of you is the same energy you've brought all night. Let's cheer them hard as we say each name across the state. We ready? There we go. Let's start with Alabama, Scott Glenn. Representing Arizona, Andrew Taylor. Representing Arkansas, Jason Gill. From Delaware, Mike Dorsey. From Florida, Kenny Parker. How about from Georgia, Tony Lezot? Congratulations. Representing Illinois, Joel Palisard. From Indiana, Ryan Mormon. From Iowa, Ben Matteo. From Kansas, Brandon Hawks. From Louisiana, Lawson Green. Our Michigan winner, Randy Vanderveen. From Minnesota, Mike Johnson. From Mississippi, Matt Pete Holman. Congratulations. From Missouri, Mark Krause. From Montana, Brett Carver. Congratulations. From the Cornhusker State, Tim Kassmeyer. From New Mexico, it's Jeff Willingham. Congratulations. From New York, Stephen Finnell. Congratulations. I should point out, by the way, how cool these rings are. Wait until you see them. From North Carolina, Scott Loosemore. Our winner from Oklahoma, Rodney Flowers. He's here from Oregon, Mike Shawn. Representing South Carolina, Neil Smith. Our South Dakota winner, Levi Klippenstein. From Tennessee, Chris Chauvin. Congratulations. From Texas, Frank Maldonado. The Virginia winner, Steve Francis. Congratulations. From Washington, Jeremy Scroggins. West Virginia, Jay Powell. Our winner from Wisconsin, James Becker. And from Wyoming, Darren Gilbertson. One more time, let's hear it for our High School Broyles Award winners. Huge thank you again to Victory Rings and Field Turf and all of our sponsors. Matt Rhule for being here. A thank you to all of you. Congratulations to all of you. And the only thing standing between us now and celebrating over at Pops is Molly Harrell and the executive director of the High School Broyles Award. Let's welcome Clayton Harrell. And thanks for all their work as well.
Man, what a night. what a last few days. And we're just so honored and blessed that, you were able to come, that we can honor you guys. Before we get to the very end, the most painful part is some housekeeping, since we will not see you, some of you, because you'll be on the table soon. There are 4 routes, 4 times that buses will come in the morning to pick you up. Those of you who are going to pull an all-nighter, 3:30 is the first bus. So if you have a flight, it's an hour drive, and so if you have a flight in the morning, which we did not recommend that. In fact, we encouraged after 11 o'clock, but that's okay. 3:30, and then the next bus will be at 5:30. The third bus will be at 9, and then the last bus will be at 11, because we all have to be here at 11 unless you are staying extra. So those are the bus times, so make sure that you are there. If not, there is Uber, or you can walk. That is a long walk. So again, I know Kyle recognized Coach Haynes, and so Coach, what class to be here tonight. And so thank you, and to your girlfriend Kiara for coming as well. Thank you guys for coming for that. So we look forward to following your career very closely, except against Nebraska. That'll be a little different. So again, coaches, I told you this morning, wives, you did not know this, but I told them first, and I said, look, I'm going to tell your wives, because they're the ones going to make the house decisions. That's what happens in our house. So these pop-up banners, they're yours to take. Wives, what you do with them, that's for you to decide. Some in the past have left it in the house during football season so that they remembered that they are married. They do have a coach that is here. So if you do not take them, they will be recycled. So we encourage you to take them as your one carry-on, or 2 if you have that. So we do encourage you to take those. Again, we would not be here today without our presenting sponsor, Phil Turf. Jamie, thank you to you and your team. And Brandon, thank you guys so much. Let's give them a round of applause for this amazing. Box Out, thank you so much. Go Fan, Thomas with Box Out. Where is Go Fan? Amanda, where are you at? There you are. Thank you, Amanda. Thomas with Box Out. We have Game 1 with John Contrusi. Thank you for the shirts and the bags and the hats. Thank you for that. And then again, Matt Rhule. Man, when I ask him to do something, he comes through. And so coaches, take this to heart. It is Valentine's. Matt does all of my jewelry. Matt, what did I say? Oh, well, Matt, you may do it too if you want. Matt Hall does all of our jewelry, victory rings. And so, ladies, if you want something special, that is the guy you need to get to before you leave tonight. Drag your husband over there. Say, this is what I want. Matt, where are you at? Just so everybody sees. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
None of the husbands are clapping.
None of the husbands are clapping for that, so thank you. I think what we learned tonight is that next year our dress code will be navy suit and red tie. I think that we are all in agreement on that. There are some Coaches vs. Overdose playbooks on your table. Please take those with you. Bring those back to your school so that we can start getting that information out there. And then one last thing that I'd like to do, we started this award, well, the family did in 2019, and we had 3 states, Texas, Alabama, and Arkansas. And those guys came to the 2019 Broyles Award, and they were just recognized for a few minutes. We have brought them back for the first time. And so Bert Newton, Casey Pierce, Doc Crawley, if you guys would stand up real quick so we can recognize you guys as the first class. And to be able to see what it has grown to, we were sitting in Tony Salazar's office. He's our 2020 Texas winner. And I just said, we're going to get to all 50 states. It may take me a while, but we're going to get to all 50 states. And it's just a blessing to see 31 states here, as we're recognizing 38. And so I know that this room will double here in the next few years with just people wanting to be a part of this. So let my wife speak, and then we'll finish up.
Still a little hoarse, but it is Valentine's Day, as we all know, and
There are two very special couples here that we want to recognize. Scott and Janie Loosemore from North Carolina are celebrating their honeymoon with us this weekend. Would y'all please stand up? Congratulations. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you, guys. And secondly, our Adrian and Tony Salazar from Texas, they're celebrating their anniversary with us. So stand up, guys.
Stand up.
Stand up. Yes. And in the spirit of Valentine's Day, if we could have all of the wives and significant others stand up, please, so we can honor you and welcome you guys to the Broyles Award family as well. Please stand up, wives, significant others. The head coaches of the house. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. And as just echoing what my mom said, I know my grandparents would be so proud to have everybody in here. It really means a lot to us for this high school side to keep growing. And thank you for taking the time to be here. I know it's not easy with kids and schedules and all of that. So thank you for being here. And I really look forward to getting to know the rest of you that I haven't got a chance to meet tonight after this. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. As we close out tonight, I just want to kind of summarize everything we've heard, tie it up, send us off with some things about Coach Broyles. It's been an incredible evening. I want to take a moment to reflect on why we are all here. Tonight is about honoring not just the exceptional coaches in this room, but the profound legacy of Coach Frank Broyles, a man whose life and career continue to inspire us all. Coach Broyles wasn't just a coach. We've heard that tonight. He was a builder of character, a mentor, a leader who believed in transformative power of sports. He understood that football was more than just a game. It was a platform to shape lives, strengthen communities, and instill values to transcend the playing field. Through his vision, integrity, and relentless commitment to excellence, he not only brought championships to Arkansas, but he also created a legacy of mentorship that lives in the countless players and coaches he inspired. His impact did not stop when the final whistle blew. Coach Broyles' passion for serving others extended far beyond the sidelines. He taught us that the true measure of success isn't just what you accomplish, but the difference you make in the lives of others, as Coach Rhule has pointed out tonight. Whether you are helping young athletes realize their potential or serving as a steadfast example of leadership and grace, Coach Broyles embodied what it means to leave a lasting legacy. To the coaches that we've celebrated tonight, each of you carries that same potential to make extraordinary marks on your communities. Your influence extends far beyond X's and O's. You have the power to shape young men's lives, to teach the values of perseverance, teamwork, integrity, and to be a source of strength and guidance when it matters most. When you walk back into your schools next week and onto your fields, remember this: the legacy of a great coach isn't just measured, as Coach Rhule just said, by wins and losses. It's measured in the lives that you touch, the lessons you impart, and the values you instill in each generation. Every practice, every game, every conversation is an opportunity to inspire and uplift. Just as Coach Broyles left a legacy that continues to shine, you too have a chance to leave that legacy that will resonate for years to come. Tonight, as we honor Coach Broyles' legacy by recognizing the incredible work that you do, you are the torchbearers of his vision. You are the ones who carry forward his belief that coaching is more than just a profession. It is a calling to lead and to inspire. So thank you for the commitment, the passion, and the heart that you bring to your teams and communities. As you leave here tonight, and as we all leave here tonight, I hope that you coaches do so in a renewed sense of purpose and pride and a profound impact that you can make. Let's honor Coach Broyles, not just with our words, but with our actions, by striving to make a difference every single day. Thank you again. Congratulations to all of our honorees tonight. Let's continue to build a legacy worthy of Coach Broyles' name. And as my mother-in-law will always tell you, now that you are a part of the Broyles Award, you are a part of the Broyles family. So we welcome you into the Broyles family. Thank you, and again, good night and enjoy.